All right, boys and girls, today we get to go on to your lid. And when you get it, it may look kind of gross because all of this brownish stuff, you're going to be like, ew, what is that? Well, actually what that is that's wax. So that this will burn off in the kiln because the kiln gets up to 1,963 degrees. All of that is going to burn off, and then you're going to have a perfectly white little rim on your lid there. So that's nice. And then I already painted the black. And you're going to notice on yours that there's a code right here. I'm going to beg you, plead with you, beg you to please not paint over that, because that's the only way that I'm going to know that it's yours. So make sure that you're careful with that. Now when you get your lid, there are two things that we're going to try and do with your lid today. Number one, we want to be able to paint an earth on the inside. And number two, we want for your lid to get all galaxy-ish and awesome. And so we're going to be putting galaxies, asteroids, comets, all kinds of things on there. Now, I already painted the inside part of here, and let me explain to you what I did. Because we're going to be painting an Earth, what's super cool about the Earth is that there are layers of our atmosphere. If we go out just a little bit beyond the Earth, just, let's see, probably about 50 miles above the Earth, if you go up, that's called the troposphere. And that's the area that like a hot air balloon could be in or something like that. Once you get out of there, you're going to be going into the stratosphere. The stratosphere is the area of our atmosphere where if you're in an airplane, you're probably in the stratosphere. You're not going to take a hot air balloon as high as an airplane goes because the air would be too thin. That would not be good for you. From there, you go out a little bit further, higher up into space, and that is called the stratosphere. And the mesosphere. And the mesosphere is when a rocket goes up into space and they are orbiting around here. They are now in what's called the mesosphere. And then if you go ridiculously like 1,000 miles out from the Earth, you are now in what's called the ionosphere. And this is the furthest layer. When we have people go up into space, they don't even get that far. So what I did when I painted yours, because I kind of had to do that for you, is I put how it goes lighter, darker here, so that you can kind of imagine all those layers of our atmosphere. Now, how are you going to go about painting your Earth? Well, what I have here, I have some pictures of Earth for reference. And just like yesterday when we had a sticker, someone's going to be coming by with a sharp object, and they are going to peel up the sticker, and you are going to be revealed a perfect circle there for you to fill in. Now, if this has already been done for you, fantastic. You're a step ahead. The next thing that's going to happen is we're going to use our little dauber again. And so I have blue on here. We're going to push and spin. You just have to do it once. And now you have the blue of your Earth. Now this is where things are going to get a little bit more complicated because I have a detail brush for you here. And you need to go ahead and do your best job to paint your continents. Now sometimes it depends on what part of the Earth you're on if you want to paint. If you want to paint Africa and Europe and Asia, you can do that side of the Earth. If you want to do the side of the Earth that has North America and South America, that's fantastic. If you want to be more like you're on the bottom of the Earth, you could do a little bit of Australia here and kind of the bottom part here of Africa and Asia, which is kind of cool. You can go up near China. You can be higher up near the top of the Earth. So it's completely up to you. I'm going to just do the Africa side. So I'm going to come here and I'm just going to paint. Now, please, don't make yourself crazy. Even if it kind of looks like blobs on blue, people will know that you meant it to look like the Earth. Okay, don't get like super critical and hyper and, oh, mine doesn't look right and whatever. Just kind of say you're making your own version of Earth. It's no big deal. So you're going to use this here to color in the continents. You're going to put that right over your blue. It's going to end up looking so pretty. And as soon as you're done with this, you are styling. You are ready to move on to the galaxy side. That looks good enough to me. So, we're going to get rid of this, and now it's time to flip it over. And when you do, we'll have a plate for you again that you can put your thing on. And I just want you to notice a few things. Number one, when you turn to the side, this is going to be the edge of your box. We need all of that to get covered in black today. We don't want it to look white along the edge. So, going back to yesterday's. Do you remember yesterday? Yesterday you had the sparkle plate. You had the star plate. It was all, so much fun. So I'll bring that back over here so that you can see that. We had the star plate, the sparkle plate, and we had the black. So what you're going to do is start off with the black that'll be in the trays, and you're just going to come and you're going to paint along the side. And you're just going to get that puppy covered, okay? Now, I'm doing this, I'm painting the top, but guess what I am making sure that I get back to? I want to do a special check and just tilt my plate a little bit and make sure that I am getting paint on the sides here. And counselors, just do me a favor and make sure that they're getting their sides there. Okay? So, we've got some black on. Now, if we have sparkle left over from yesterday, and we just might, then you can go ahead and take this same brush, dip it into the sparkle, and throw some sparkle on. Okay? So you're going to put your sparkle on top of here. Then, if you want to have stars in the sense of using the star stuff that we used yesterday, where remember this crunchy stuff again, where it has all the little crystals in there, you may take your toothpick and you may put that and you may blob that around on the top. Now, you'll notice I am only doing the top of my lid here. You're not going to flip it over and start doing the other sides and things like that. Now, I'm coming here, and you can only imagine that when this comes out of the kiln, tomorrow, someday, whenever, I'm going to now have all these really cool stars that will have exploded, and I'll show you what they're going to look like. They are going to look just like this. That's what I just put on. When you put on that black star glaze, that's when they explode. You end up with these little white things, which is really cool. Now, the thing that I really want for you to do is to not only have darkness and not only have stars on here, but I would like for you to have a realistic lid too by having some of these other elements. And this is my tray here. I think you can see most of my items. And we're going to have to work really hard together today to remember which ones are for what. And so I'm going to explain that to you now. If you look here again, you'll see that there are galaxies out of space. In fact, you probably talked about this with me yesterday when we were doing your bag. And so we want to have some galaxies. Now, galaxies are kind of hard to paint, but lucky for you, my friends, we have these super cool exploding glazes. If you look at this one right here, when this glaze explodes, it looks just like a galaxy. I can't get over it. It's so cool. And if we look back on this one, do you see how that kind of looks like a galaxy? This one is this one right here. It actually says, I can't tip it or it's going to fall out. It actually says outer space on the side of it. This one is the yellowish one that I showed you. And this is one that I don't have, but it ends up being kind of like a blue galaxy. Now, if you want to have some star clusters and some other kind of galaxy looking things too, we can do that with orange paint. That's right here. And last but not least, if you want to have an asteroid is a solid object that looks like a blob, you're going to use this. And if you want it to look like a comet with a tail, you're going to use the same stuff, but we're going to drag the toothpick through it. So I'm going to show that to you now. So if I want to have some of these different galaxies, I would use the toothpick. I'm going to listen around for some crunchy, and I'm going to decide that I'm going to have a yellow galaxy right here. Now notice, please, I am not going all over creation. I'm just putting a few galaxies here and there. This is definitely a case of if you use tons and tons, I kind of have to tell you, you're going to end up with a mess. You just want a little bit. So I'll use a little bit of this one. I'll look for some crunchies in here. So now I know I'm going to have a galaxy right here. And I'm going to have a little galaxy right here. And notice again, I'm just doing a little bit of a globby there. I'll do a little bit of a blue galaxy. Maybe I'll stick it right about here. It'll look kind of interesting to me. And right here. So you just need a little tiny bit.